Hey everybody, this is Dying to Live here playing Kerbal Space Program. Today we are going to do a tutorial on docking. Now we have our Kerbal National Space Station. Well, it's part 1. You've got to assemble the thing in space. It's a pretty simple thing. We've got a crew cabin right here, extra space I guess you do. There's 2 guys in here. Nobody's in here. RCS, SAS, got a docking port here. Docking port here. I've got, I gotta unfurl these guys. These are my solar panels. I don't have really anything to use my solar panels on, to be honest with you. But I've got them anyway for all my electricity needs. So we have more power than I will know what to do with. I've got 500 units of power available to me, and it's time, however, to face the reality of part of this is that these guys have no way home. And if they have no way home, then that's kind of a sad thing for their families and loved ones. But no fear, we're going to fix this. We are going to add a part to this today. We're going to attach a part to one of these 2 right here, and its purpose is going to be a return rescue vehicle. In case something bad happens, life support is cut, this will be a vehicle that they can climb into, and they can escape, and they can return home. And so I'm going to build that and explain the parts of it as soon as we come back. Alright, here is our safety and rescue ship. It's been only a moment for you, but it has been a few minutes for me. I have built this thing especially for rescue and safety, just in case something bad were to happen. It's not an additional part necessarily to the station. It's not meant to be part of the sprawl. It is just in case something happens and we need to return the Kerbals back home. So, I've got my command capsule. There'll be 3 Kerbals in here, and I've got room for 4 more. There's 2 in space right now, so I've got plenty of space for what I've got up there right now. I've got some lights up here. These lights are going to help point and let me see where I'm aiming for. It's great if it happens to be at night that this takes place. That's a huge thing. I've got the docking port on top. That's the only one we have. We're not gonna have multiple docking ports because this is not designed to have other ships attached to it. This is designed to be an escape egress in case of emergency. Here is a decoupler, advanced SAS, RCS, and here's a tank, a fuel tank, and then there's a small engine here. And so this is going to be our docking vehicle. This will let us to deburn and whatnot. This is our orbiter. Couple things to note: there's a few RCS units here. These are going to help us line up and get in there. Also, there are some parachutes that attach to the side. They'll let us to land both of these capsules here safely. In fact, what I might end up doing is I might need to attach a couple to this. Let's do that. Where are my parachutes at? Here we go. I don't need that many. Let's do 4. 4 is overkill, but it's balanced. All right, so we'll go ahead and put 4 of those on there. That way, in case something happens, they fall apart, they'll still both safely return home. All right, so that looks good. Let's go ahead and launch it, and we will do the tutorial, and we'll go dock, and we'll learn how to do that. All right, we've got our rocket launching up here. Oops, getting a little squirrely. There we go. And so we are going to take off, and we're going to try to get this intercept. Now, one thing I'm going to point out that changed in point 18, these engines here, they like to overheat a lot. So you got to be very careful with them. You can't throttle them all the way up like you can most engines. It's just for whatever reason, that's one of the changes they made. Now, I haven't particularly made an effort to time. Let me do this. Get that There we go, to time my approach. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to set our target. So you click on KSS, you select your target, you click Set as Target. I gotta go back here because I'm gonna run out of fuel. Oh, look, they're overheating again, so I gotta knock that down just a bit again. And I'm getting SAP calls. That's the end of the solid boosters. Loading on fuel. Are these done? I think these are done. Yeah, those are done. Okay. I'm going to turn my ship. Alright. So we've got our target. Now you can't really see any changes right now. Let me lock this here real quick. Go to my map view. You can see that this has turned green, that there's some crazy stuff here going on, but you can't really tell too much else what's going on. Let me look at my Skype. Sorry. Anyways, and so we're basically just trying to get an orbit that will intercept, sort of. The game will then tell us where the closest places are, and those are going to be the places that we're going to try to work on to get closer and closer and closer, and hopefully get an intercept, and ideally match orbits. Because if your orbits aren't matching, you're basically going to, even if you dock, you're going to dock at a high speed and crash into each other. So you gotta do it sort of slowly. Alright, so our Apoapsis is flying out there. Let's stop that. Forgot, I almost overheated my engine. I forgot to look for that again. Alright, so let's go out to our Apoapsis. And this just kind of tells us, this ascending and descending nodes. This just kind of tells us how many degrees off we are at certain points. Lock that. And I'm out of fuel, so... There you go. There we go. Check my lights. Poof. That looks nice. Alright. Lock that. Ooh, hey. I said lock that, not fly around when I push T. Lock. There you go. There you go. Alright, we're in orbit. So one of the things that we're going to do first off, actually we're not going to do this yet. We're going to get an orbit first. Let's get our orbit. After we get an orbit, there we go. There's something we have to do that I'll show you, but I'll show you in a second. But we can't do it now because we have to know what our position is relative to our orbit, our headings relative to that. So we'll bring that on out. We're not going to bring this out terribly far, just because we're going to have to do quite a few things, or quite a few passes around. Let's bring it to about 100, and yeah, 100 will be fine. And so nothing really has changed yet, but we're going to go ahead and fling this around here, and then I'm going to bring my Apoapsis out. And probably, actually, yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Alright. So we're going to want to get ourselves a... Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, I forgot how to fly a plane. Oh. I flew right past it. I just choked. Alright, we lock on this. Oop, and whoop, stop. And so you can see here we've got intersects. And it's going to be in 24 minutes. This is one intersection, second intersection, and here's the distance between the intercepts. So it's pretty wild. But we're going to go ahead and do a few passes. We have to catch up on it because we're so far behind it. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video, and then we will come back when I'm much closer. Alright, I'm coming up onto where I will be about as close as I will ever be as I am right now. And so you can see there's two orange marks, there's pink marks, and there's orange marks. This pink mark is where I will be when this orange mark is right here. So I'll be here, and it will be here, and we will be 218 kilometers away, which is no good. No good at all. So what we're going to do is I'm going to zero out my speed in comparison to it, and to this ship. Now you say, how do you do that? Well, it's pretty simple. You go down here where it says orbit. Normally it says surface, orbit. We can also say target. So I can see that I am traveling 6 100 some odd meters per second in comparison or in difference to my target. Now, this is if I wanted to zero out or make that number lower so we're traveling at the same speed, at least at this particular time, I can burn towards this way. Or if I wanted to, I could make it go higher toward the direction, which is not really something you ever want to burn towards when you're targeting. Or alternatively, I can also burn exactly toward, this target right here, which is the actual target itself. So if I do this, I lock myself here and I press M and I point myself forward. Oh, you can't actually see it, but if you could see it, I'm actually facing. I'm too far away from it to see it. But if you could see it, I'm actually pointing straight toward it. So it's out here somewhere. It's not visual range. So what I'm going to do, oops, wrong way, is I'm actually going to start to, let's see here. This one's at 300. This one's way far out. All right. Is I'm going to go ahead and let myself get, whoa, closer. So that's about as close as it's going to get. And then I'm going to zero out my speed, which may seem, you're like, well, you're going to stop. No, I'm just going to zero out my speed in comparison, to this rocket here, to this ship here. All right, so now that I'm close to it, about as close as I'm going to get, I'm about 200 kilometers away. I don't even know if I can see it. I still don't think I can see it. Okay, I'm going to slow down my speed, which if you watch, it's going to mess my orbit all sorts of crazy ways up. So that we're sort of traveling the same way. And it's messier than I care for. But I'm going to lock it towards this. And I'm going to point it at my target. Oop. I see here I have a 24 kilometer intersect right here. So I'm going to go ahead and spin around until I have it. I also have a larger one, but I don't like that one so much. So we're going to do this one. And when we get here, we're going to zero out our speed again, and we should be much closer. And so we're just going to keep kind of doing this until we get where we want. Now we're way far away. Whoop. Slowing down. There we go. All right. Can't overdo it. And then stop. And then we're going to do the exact same thing we did before. Oh, that's the other way. I want to go the other way. Is we're going to zero out our speed in comparison. Remember, this is not our actual speed. This is just our speed compared to this. We're moving sort of away from it, sort of sideways to it. It could mean that we're moving toward it. It could mean that we're moving away from it. But we're just going to zero out this speed. And this is getting back here. And this number over here is getting, so this intersect on the other side of us is getting smaller. This one's going to get a little larger, but that's okay. We're going to fix that, both of those in a second. How are we doing, fuel? Good. All right. Not quite. So you can see, now that we're zeroing it out, our orbit is actually kind of fixing itself. It's kind of like, that's weird and magic. And I know, it's like, I know, thank you, targeting computer. All right, so I'm going to get this a little bit smaller. And so I look at these things here, and I see, oops, 200 kilometers, and then I don't have one here. So I'm going to want to actually start burning toward it again. And this is just, basically, I want to aim toward it and not, in whichever way. So I'm kind of going the same speed as it, and now I'm burning this way, and you can see my direction is now kind of like this. It's saying, hey, we're going toward this thing. And so I've got an intercept here at 16 kilometers, and I've got an intersect here at 72 kilometers. What I'm looking at is a separation right here, the second line separation. And so I can see here, this is 25, and I want to get these pretty even to get myself sort of a roundish orbit. And so if I actually look around, I will be able to see it, I'm pretty sure. Where are you at? I'm pointing toward it. Hua. There it is. So there's the KSS, and it's 28 kilometers away. So after all that, it's just a matter of kind of aiming, getting closer, so we get to the next, whoa, we get to the next close place. All right. So what do we do now? That's right. We zero out our speed again. So we're basically, because this is as good as it gets, we want to kind of keep ourselves traveling in the same sort of, effort. All right. So once we've zeroed out close enough, zeroed out our speed, we're going to fly toward it. Let's see here. Where is this at? Here's our intersect. So we're bringing these numbers down, 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 down. Over here, it's awful. That's why we have to constantly zero out our speed. 8, 7, 6, 6, 1. Now we're going to be flying at this thing very quickly at 170 kilometers per second. So by the time we hit it, get close to it, which will be pretty close, we're going to be flying at it pretty fast. So we're going to have to, when we get there, we're going to have to zero our speed differences out again. So, but the gist of it is, where's it at? Are we pointing at it again? The gist of it is, it's getting really close. So the idea here is to get it closer and then match orbits. Get it closer, match orbits. Get it closer, match orbits. So now we're close, getting close again. So the way we match orbits, we zero out our relative speed. And the closer we are, the more it's going to look like an orbit. If we're way away from it and we zero out our speed, it's going to look really crazy. But that's okay because, well, how else are you supposed to make it work? All right, so we're zeroing out our speeds. And you see our orbit should be kind of starting to match that of it. Oop, there we go. All right, I was starting to get a little wild there. So zeroing out our relative speeds. There we go. So that's zeroed out relative speeds. So you can see our orbits are very close, right? Here it's so many kilometers away. But right now we just need to fly towards it. So, oops, press C instead of I pressed C instead of whatever. Anyways, so I'm trying to get my yellow dot on that. Let's see here. How close is that? So we're at 2 kilometers, right? So we're getting this closer and closer and closer. 1 kilometer, 1.865, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I want to get this down to about 3 kilometers. That's what I like. 8. All right, so that number's not coming down anymore. So I'm going to have to do the same thing again where I go and let me look at my fuel levels. All right, I zero it out. So this is a long, slow process, but it's once you figure it out, you're just basically taking your numbers and making them smaller. Your differences is smaller and smaller and smaller. So you're going to repeat this process, which is zeroing out and then moving toward it. All right, so we're going to zero out. And this is basically just matching orbits. It's all we're doing on this part. We match orbits, and then we move towards it. All right, so now our orbits are pretty well matched. And I'm trying to get that yellow dot to move this way. So the way I'm going to do that is by burning on this side of it. All right, so I have an intersect here, and it's at 1 kilometer. And at 8, whoops, and see I'm not doing it right because my yellow dot's not right here. How are we looking? 3 kilometers. That will be really good. That's about what I want, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up to this point. I'm going to zero it out, and then we're going to go in for close actual maneuvers. All right, we're actually going to do the docking. All right, so we get up here, and we are. Let's see here. Where is it at? There it is. We are really close together. All right. So you're like, oh snap! It's flying away from me. Don't worry about it. All right. We're gonna fix that. It's flying away at 10.7 meters per second. Oh look, I can look at my thing and tell you that. All right. So I'm gonna just lock on this, and suddenly it's not flying away anymore. It's flying toward me. So that makes things quite simple. All right. So we're constantly zeroing out our speed and then flying toward it. So right now, I can see that I'm aiming towards it. And I want to come a little closer because I'm a little farther out than I intend to be. Let me look at my map. Our intersect will be at 100 meters. So, and that's in a minute and a half. So I know that I don't really have to worry about too much because we're gonna get really close. Now I'm still gonna have to zero out my speed when we get to that close part. Because otherwise, you know, it's going to be like passing a car on the interstate. Zoom, you know. 3.1 meters per second doesn't seem like a lot, but it's enough. It's enough. It's enough to make you miss, destroy your ship. There we go. All right. So this is what you're going to do a lot of, and at first it's going to seem really weird, and you're going to have to get used to it. All right. But it's really fun. You know, it seems like craziness, but it's a lot of fun. And you see here my thing is dancing around. That means my numbers are really good. All right, so we're moving away just slightly, but our orbits are nearly perfect. All right, we could go around Kerbal a few times without having any problems. But you know what I want to do? I want to target. Oh, Sondermarken just sent me a picture. All right, Sondermarken, what'd you send me a picture of? Pull along. You can hear all my noises. All right, back to this. Stop sending me pictures, Sondermarken. Oh, he's got an orbital fuel station. He's working on his docking too. All right, so this is good. I'm gonna turn my RCS on. All right, and so I'm gonna start having to do things like slowing myself down. But I also want to press C. Whoops, no, I'm sorry, not C. V. Then V again, and that's going to give me a chase camera. And that's going to put me right where I want to be on my ship. Oh. And I am flying right at a solar panel. And you notice how it's kind of hard to see? Poof. Oh, look, I can see now. All right, so I've got a few problems. One problem is I'm not aligned to the docking things. The docking thing is here. And my thing is pointing here. I got another problem is my docking thing isn't open. Open the shield. All right. Another problem is I'm flying past it. Whoops. This way. All right, we're 7 meters out. But mostly I'm not pointing the right direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my SAS off. I'm just going to rotate my ship so that I'm starting to face the proper way. Now I gotta watch out for these solar panels. I'm actually in the middle of them. And that looks good. Alright, but it's okay because I'm moving away from them. Alright, so I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna see, okay, I need a backup. So I'm gonna press in, back up, back it up, back it up. Alright. And basically we're in just RCS mode only right now. We're not gonna use our rocket anymore. Unless we really mess up. Alright, so I can see it moving away. So I'm going to press H, say stop, cancel that action. We need to move up. Press K, move up. This is where practicing with your RCS is very helpful. And I can see I'm moving away at about 5 meters per second. So I'm going to go ahead and zip forward a little bit. You can see my lights shining. That's a good helper. All right. Let's see here. Now I'm not lined up again, so I'm going to have to fix this. Oops. Turn my RCS back on. Lock. So that's much better. Okay. So I'm just looking at this down the way. I'm going to say, I go this way, down, 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 over, down. Just trying to sync things up, okay? We'll go forward a little bit. It's moving away from us. Now it's moving toward us very slightly. All right. You can see here I'm moving towards it at 1 meters per second. In fact, one of the things that I can do is I can aim it so that my little yellow dot is over this pink dot, and that's going to aim me pretty much perfectly, assuming I'm facing the right way. All right, let's see here. Everybody say hi to Sondermarken in the comments. So you can see here, I'm aiming this yellow dot on this green dot here. Now you do have the option of pressing docking over here, and now your WSAD keys controls your RCS. But personally, I don't like to do it, and you don't have to do it. You can do it if you want to. You can push this button here. You also push this button here, but you don't have to. It's up to you. All right, so we're getting closer to it. I can see on my orbital map that I'm just missing it. I'm gonna use my RCS to bump myself over. And we're coming in very slowly, but good. Let's give myself a little more bump. Alright, so this should be coming in. Looking at this right here to see, making sure that these are lined up pretty good. Here we go. I like to use set as target right on that little bit right there. So I look good, look good. Move it down. And there we go. T and R, turn my RCS off. And it kind of magnets, and you're like, is it attached? Yes, it's attached. Give it a second. It's settling. The computer is trying to figure out the best way to make it all work. You're okay. Oop, bump my mic. You're okay. Just wait. Just wait for it. It'll come. Just relax. Just relax. You've just got to math it out. Right? And then in a second, it'll snap together and it'll become one chip. So right now it's two ships, but it's kind of figuring out. It's got a weird angle here, and it's going to fix that. There we go. There we go. That's coming in. It's kind of like, it's a long ship. All right, need a SAS settle that in there. There we go. All right, so now this is one ship. All right. So I can actually control it both as one ship. I could land it as one ship. I can move it around as one ship. So if I look at this and I say my Apoapsis is 98 whatever. My Apoapsis is 9298. This one's 300. I could go over here and adjust them. They'll both be the same. They're attached together. And I can also, this one, let's see here. I've got some RCS fuel, and so I can actually move some fuel from one to the other. So for example, I can take, I'm going to press Alt and right click here, and holding Alt, right click here, and now I have option, and I can say, well, I'd like to transfer out my RCS fuel, or I'd like to get some RCS fuel back in, and I can transfer back. Now I didn't use very much RCS fuel, but I can. And you do the same thing. I don't have a fuel tank on this ship here, but you can do the same thing here. You press Alt, click that, and then you just choose whichever fuel tank you want. I don't have a fuel tank, mind you, but then you can transfer the fuel right over. So you can make a fueling station, like Sondermarken was just making, where you just have a bunch of tanks in space and you fill them all up. And then as you go by, like say maybe you want to do an interstellar mission, or I should say interplanetary mission, interplanetary mission, you come by with your ship, you've used all your fuel, the thing's turning for the sun, you used all your fuel, you come by, you dock, and then you refuel, taking that fuel from the space station and carrying on. So this is docking 101 for you guys. It's going to take a lot of practice, but oh my gosh, it is so much fun to do. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them. One question you might have is, hey, how do you disconnect? Well, you just click here and you click Control from here. Or actually, it should say, I'm sorry, I should find the docking clamp. Not Control from here. There we go. Nope, undock. There it is. You just hit undock to find the right one. Hit undock, and it will it'll remove the docking, I guess. And oh, it named it wrong. It named it escape ship. I need to rename this ship. Oh well, don't worry about it. So anyways, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment. In the meantime, hey, thank you guys so much for watching, and have fun making your space station.